Hey everybody! So I'm going to start on this desk. We've had this desk or vanity desk, so you can see it. I'm really close because I'm in tight quarters here at the house tonight. We've had this for a little while, and it is something that I've always thought should be painted, and took the time to get it to the house tonight, and we're going to paint it. So I asked on my personal Facebook page basically what people wanted to see it painted in, and the first one that popped up was red. Well, it was with turquoise and blue with red accents, so we're gonna go with that. So I'm gonna start off with Barn Red, and this is by Dixie Belle, just Barn Red, and I'm using the Dixie Belle oval medium brush. I'm also going to be possibly using the brush that I talk about a lot, the mini. As you can see, I've used this a lot, over hundreds of times. But so I'm just going to really just put a base of red as suggested. I think it was by Shelly or Shelby. I can't remember who suggested red and turquoise. So I'm going to, there's some little divots over here, some accenting. I don't know if you can see those. There, now that I'm putting the red on. So what I'm doing is just getting a base of Honky Tonk Red in there, so that when I come over it with my top color, it will peek through, if you will. Now I got my brush really wet from another project I was working on earlier today, so this brush is, you see the red is dripping a little bit. It's okay. It's okay because we're going to be going over it again. This is just basically get the paint on, and even though a lot of this red's not going to be seen because it's going to be a peekaboo through the color I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and not just cover up just the accents. I'm going to hit the highlights of where, when I distress back, you'll see a lot of the red, which would be in all the, I know, I'm in the worst spot to paint and tape right now, because you can't see because I get right in the way. So I'm going to get my brush really into these little niches and get the red on there inside all these accents. That's why it's really good to use this brush instead of just the flat mini. This is the oval medium. It's a little tapered a little bit, and I can really get into those niches right there. There. Bring it a little bit down. I'm going to just bring it out on the drawer. Again, some of this you won't be able to see at all because it's just going to be covered up. So I like to touch the sides and stuff where when you just stress back, that's the part you're probably going to see. So I'm going to go ahead and put paint on that part. You want to paint the color that you want to see come through first. It's just easier that way on this particular style. Now, I would like to have put this on its top, upside down, and done the legs. It has 8 legs. Is that right? Yes. 8 legs. 8 legs this piece has. So I like to put it on its top and paint the legs first. It is raining on and off. It's thundering outside, and I'm just in my dining room, my little place to paint. So I thought, well, I want to get started. So I went ahead and I'm going to paint the little niches where the paint will peek back through. And then I'm going to put a little bit on this leg because it has detailing here. But once I do this tonight, I might let it dry, and then tomorrow put it on its top, upside down, and go ahead and paint the legs. It's a little bit easier to get all the way around instead of me being on the floor and working around it. Let me just reach over here. I know it's hard. So again, you're thinking about what's going to be peeking through. And so up here on the top, I just realized it's really beveled in this neat little design. And some of the red might pop through up here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. Wasn't my intention to put it up there, But just in case, when I put the top layer of turquoise or blue or whatever color we decide to go with, we're probably going to blend two different colors, then this red will already be there for distressing back. I'm either going to wet distress it by reactivating it with my mister bottle. Make sure it's a misting, not just a water bottle, because the misting is fine misting. You can get those at hair supply stores. You can get a Hobby Lobby. We sell them. I'm out of them right now. They work really well for using on furniture painting. But you can wet distress by using this and a washcloth, or you can use sandpaper, but that usually goes all the way back to your base, which is this faux wood. And I don't want to do that, so a light cloth, lightly damped, wet distressing. You can also use, like I said, the sandpaper back. Some people use the Vaseline technique, which is where you would put Vaseline on spots in the corners and the different accenting, so that when you put the next coat of paint on, then you can just kind of wipe it back, because Vaseline, the petroleum jelly, would give it a barrier and not let it adhere. This is water-based, and the petroleum has oil in it, and you would pull it off. So that's another thing people do. There's all kinds of ways to distress and make things neat. I'm going to move over. Oh, thank you, Alan. It's Mayor Alan. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to just say Alan. I think I'm always going to say Mayor Alan, because he's the mayor to me. He's an artist. He repairs furniture for museums at After the Fox. His name, if you ever need museum quality pieces of furniture repaired back to museum quality, I would call them After the Fox. It's in Railroad Square, which kind of, is my home away from home, so shout out to Railroad Square. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing I did over here. The brush, I had a little bit too much water on it when I first started, because I had sprayed it a little bit from another project, and I'm just using the same brush. It doesn't matter, again, because this is going to be the peekaboo color. I just want to make sure I get it into those accents of crevices. It's kind of hard to see because the lighting in my dining room is not the greatest. So this is just getting on that first little bit. Call it peekaboo or see-through. It's the first coat, because when I put the other coat on top and then pull it back, this is the coat of color I want you to see. So yes, I had asked on my personal page of my Facebook to ask, like, what color should I paint this? And Shelby or Shelly, I can't remember, the first person to answer said turquoise blue with red poking through. So let's do that. Our friend Jean said black with silver. Thought about doing that too. Or black with purple. So you would do purple and then paint the whole thing black and pull it back. Or you can do the dry brush technique with something like that, where you would do it all black, especially if it's a matte black. And then I would take my matte chalk paint, and I think aubergine is the best purple, that's Dixie Belle. And then I would just dry brush over these accents and let it bring back the purple, so it would be purple and black. That was a suggestion. But the turquoise with red, they even presented a picture of a necklace that they were using as a display, or an example. In turquoise, I think a lot of times in Arizona, turquoise with red beads. I like that too. So I was like, yeah, let's try that. Now, if I painted this white and put clear coat on it and distress it back with a little bit of black distressing or grungy look, this thing would sell in a day or two. But sometimes I get so tired of painting everything white, so I like the idea of color. You see I have some candlesticks back there, a toolbox, another box and stuff that are drying. They're in pink. I'm getting those ready. That's just display decor pieces that I was painting earlier with this brush, hence why the brush was really wet when I first started. Okay, so I'm just getting a little bit on these legs, because I am going to do a little stressing back on that. And since I have paint left on my brush, let me just come back across here. I'm leaving the drawers in. You can take them out, but these drawers do not, they actually go in, so you don't have to worry about that lip. I'm actually going to paint just a little bit on the inside because there is a tiny, tiny bit of lip there. With some drawers you have a big inset, other ones don't, so I am not taking the drawers out. I will possibly paint a hidden surprise on the side of the drawers. At least that's my plan so far. That once I'm done with the actual piece, then I'll pull the drawers out and work on the sides and give it a little bit of a wow factor, something you weren't expecting. A lot of people neglect painting the drawers, and that's fine. I do that on some pieces that aren't going to be that much, but it's also nice to do a little surprise and add something to that. Now, I have to paint these insets. I think because I'm not going to distress in these, I'll just leave those. I won't paint them red because the color I'm going to be doing. Hi, Roseanne. Hi, Rose. Hey, Rob. I'm not going to paint that. And you see this backboard here? Across the room, you're going to see that. So I'm going to go ahead and when I get my blue color, I'm going to paint these blue. And I'm going to remember to get that board as well because you will be able to see across the room. I'm going to just ease up a little bit here and paint a little bit of red on top. I am going to be doing the blue, like I said, for those that are just logging in, blue on top of this, a turquoise blue, but I want a little bit of red to come through, so I'm going to do a little bit of red as the peekaboo color on top. Let's see if I can stand up in my pajamas. Yes, I have my pajamas on. It's still stay-at-home rules for me, so why not be in my PJs while I'm painting at home? This paint has low VOCs or no VOCs. There's no smell whatsoever. It is water-based, so I can easily clean it up if I get it on my pajamas or on the floor, which this is a thicker paint, Dixie Belle, and it doesn't tend to drip. I don't get a lot of dripping. On the sides of these, there's also an inset. I'm going to go ahead and put that red on there. And again, I am just getting this ready for tomorrow when I have more time to actually get to the actual bigger part of it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So again, I'm just putting some of this red on the top. This is honky tonk red. Is that right? Nope, sorry. This is barn red. And that way there'll be some peekaboo when I distress back. So I'm just kind of feather lighting that on there. Get a little bit off the brush. Just a light coat. This isn't to cover like it would be the top coat, the final coat. This is just a little underneath. And I could just do it in certain places, but I decided there's enough on the brush to wipe out. This will give me a head start for tomorrow. When I get up, it'll be dry, and I can start working on the next part. I could also use a heat gun or put the fan on it to dry it quicker, so I can work on it tonight. But I feel like today was a good long day, and this is a good point. I don't want to work on it all night. I just want to get it started. Okay, let's see if I can do this before we go. I'm going to see if I can turn it without knocking everything over. And I ended up just using the oval medium brush. I did not use the flat mini. Sometimes I use both at the same time, have them ready, but I ended up just using the one brush. And I can just rinse this in the sink because it's low VOCs. Now, what I'm trying to do without knocking everything over that's drying in the background, like I was saying, I had painted some things pink. Let's see if I can do this. There's a chair over there. Probably not going to get that angle. Nope, I'd have to move everything. I'm going to paint the inset. What I was trying to bring it around and show you is that the inset of the side of this has a little lip. And I'm going to paint that red too. Let's see if I can do this. No fun painting in tight spaces, but you do what you gotta do. Let's see. Without knocking the paint over. Okay, now you can see a little bit of it. You get the idea. Oh, I'm sitting down on my really rolling thing that has a little turtle pillow. So right here, there you go. You see there's a little lip here, a little inset. There's one back here, and there's one up here, and a little bit further down. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of red on the sides and let that dry overnight. I'm going to go ahead and hit that leg, which you can't see. Let's see if the whole thing will hold without falling. There. Since I'm here already, these front legs have a little bit of inset. The back legs are kind of that tapered square. They did a little bit of fancy on these, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it while I'm here. I'm glad that Shelly came up with the idea. It's nice to throw it out there. Sometimes I already know what color I want to paint it when I ask what color should this be, and then you guys, now you can see my pajama pants for sure. Sorry, it's falling down. Nope, doesn't want to behave. There. This whole thing is falling because I didn't do it right. There. Okay, that may be the end of it. Sorry, you guys. That's what you get when you get a tripod that doesn't want to agree. I'm going to paint with my left hand so I don't have to finish up right away. But I'm just going to paint this inset and the side. Really get it on there. Sorry, it keeps falling down. Ambidextrous, holding the tripod and that. Hey, Letha. Letha, my whole tripod is falling over. If you've ever seen one of those characters like melt, that's what it's doing. It's just going boom. It's not holding. And because the phone is heavier than the great tripod, the whole thing just wants to go falling over. I'm looking for something to hold it, but it's also, I'm pretty much done. We'll see if that's going to hold it for a second. So if it collapses, you know. Again, I'm just putting a base coat of red, so I know you can see through here, and this is not finished. So don't be like, that looks horrible. It's always going to look worse before it gets better. And there's the barn red. There's that. Hey, Jean. I did mention, Jean, what color you just said to paint it. But I went ahead. Now, as it's drying, the red tends to turn back because this is on top of brown. This is not real wood, but it's a dark brown. This previous thing that was painted, this desk / vanity. And I had said earlier, you guys are just logging in, that if I had painted this white and distressed it, we probably would sell it in the next day or two after I put it on the floor. But I'm so sick of painting white, I needed a little bit of a break. I'm adding a little bit more red here on the inset on the side, so I'll have that base coat drying all night. This paint is self-leveling. It's really nice, and it's drying real quick, so it's drying. You see there were some lighter spots here on the actual piece, so that's showing through. When I get done, that won't show through. Right now it's just to get a little hint of red, so then when I do the turquoise and the peacock and the mermaid tail, which are the three colors I'm thinking about blending on top, this red will pop through when I do a little bit of the distressing. I'm going to get a little bit on these handles to the side. While I'm here looking at them from the side, may as well hit this spots because I have this much paint left on my brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and use that before I, instead of rinsing it down the sink because I'm done. Hit the sides a little bit more. Hit the insets of these drawers. I did not take the drawers out because they're pretty much just go right into where they are. I'm going to hit the insets a little bit. And then when I'm done, I will pull the drawers out. When I'm completely done, I'll pull the drawers out and I'm going to paint a little bit of the sides so that when you pull the drawer out, you'll get a hint of color on the sides too. Alright, believe it or not, it is almost dry. I know it doesn't look like much because we're just doing the base of it, but there. And you really didn't have to paint all the red. You could have just done the insets. You didn't have to do the handles and stuff, but I went ahead and did it because I have extra paint left in my brush, and I just figured I'd rather cover it in case I change my mind and I want to do a lot more distressing than not. And then, of course, there's always that thing I tell you to do. Get a canvas or get another project you're working on and offload this onto it because you've got this extra paint. I really don't have a project that I want to offload on, but when you're at home, if you have an extra canvas or something, you can take this and get that off of there so you don't lose any of the paint that you have on your brush. Alright, I'm going to just go down these legs and hit them because there's a little bit of design on the bottom, similar to one here. A little red on there. And then we're going to call it a night. Thank you for suggesting the colors. Thank you for watching a little bit, and hopefully you've been working on your own projects, whether it's cooking something good or painting something or building something or even taking something apart maybe. My brother works on cars, so taking things apart are just as important because then you get to put them back together. I'm going to reach across here, the bottom of this leg, hit the edges a little bit. Alright, there is the base of it. And this is Barn Red by Dixie Belle. And again, oh, there's those candlesticks I was talking about. Candlesticks and a toolbox and something else I'm working on. Those are been painted pink earlier today, and I'm going to be making those into displays for a display we're working on. Thanks for watching.